The Kid Who Would Be King and Replicas. That coming up next on a blog rundown. And we're going to kick off the show, John, with the first film, The Kid Who Would Be King.
Yes.
This one's coming in from D.M. Anderson. It's a film by Joe Cornish, who also directed and wrote this film. You've seen it, John. I've not, I'm afraid.
Yes, Stephen, I have to say I really enjoyed it. First and foremost, Louis, I should say, not Louis. Louis, he's not French. Louis Ashburn Circus. Yeah. What a start. It's only going to get better, John. It's related to Andy Serkis, I do believe, in some shape or form. I don't know what the relation is. Is it his boy?
I think it is.
Is it his son? Jesus Christ, didn't know that. And also Dean Chamu, Angus Emery. Brilliant young little cast we have here, Stephen. And I have to say, also we spoke about this film on a previous blog rundown with, I think it was Philip maybe reviewed it. It was closer at the time, it was actually in the theatres. And now I agreed with him, and now I also agree with D.M. Anderson's Blu-ray review, where he pretty much hits upon all of the various points which are seen as positives.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to, John.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. He says it's a curmudgeon's guide, essentially, where it's a grumpy old curmudgeon saying they don't make them like they used to. This is like a bygone era film, Stephen, where it's kind of doing something different with a classic tale, a classic King Arthur origins tale. It's modernising it for the youth of today. We're utilising a younger cast, we're putting it into a modern setting. We've seen this done kind of with Robin Hood earlier in the year, but it wasn't a modern setting, but it felt modern because the clothes were very modern and the setting and the colours gave off a modern vibe. This one is actually set in London in the current day, and then it goes off into a wonderful little adventure across Stonehenge and through portals.
I think the difference though, John, is that with those comparisons, Robin Hood is that film that came out earlier this year is based on the character Robin Hood and the story of Robin Hood. This instead is taking inspiration from a story. Yeah,
it is. And that's what Dave says, Stephen. He says it doesn't pander to giggles, painful attempts to garner giggles. Yeah. It doesn't go down to scatological gags, actually, to search that up. Essentially means shite gags. If you don't know, it doesn't go down the route of overt slapstick. It's more clever in its way that it utilises the characters. He says that he really enjoyed the characters. It felt like real, wholesome individuals. The young cast really stood up and made themselves count, essentially, in the story and just in terms of acting performances as a whole. And I have to agree, I thought the young cast was absolutely brilliant. I thought Angus Emery was the standout as Merlin, the younger take of Merlin, because we do have Patrick Stewart coming in as an older, wizened, grizzly version of Merlin. But the guy that's leading the group on their journey, becoming a sort of Gandalf in the Hobbit setup, where he comes in at important events, intermittent sort of parts in the story, gives them a nice little guiding hand and then disappears off again. He is fantastic, Angus Emery. I says it the last time we spoke about the film. It's got a lot of good, punchy little dialogue, and that's mostly down to Joe Cornish, who has directed and written the likes of Attack Block. Brilliant story with another sort of a young cast, and twisting your thoughts on maybe the bullies at the start of that. And I think they were, I can't recall what Philip says, I've not actually seen the film, but by all accounts it was a beautifully created little film. John Boyega was in there, but it does something, I think they're right, or they're doing something anyway, it doesn't matter, but they're bad people at the start of Attack Block. He twists the perception on them and they become people you're invested in, you want to see succeed. It's the same here. You have two bullies, two sort of losers in the school, and they have to band together, become greater than the sum of their parts, learn off each other, see the different perspectives in life. They've got their set ideas on the two bullies, why they're doing things, they think they're this sort of a person, and then the bullies again think these people, they've got their set views on them, and then they come together, realise they're not so different after all, and they go on this journey and learn from it. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it utilised CG very, very well, as does Dave. He says that the demons, the demonic sort of creatures that the villainous Morgana utilises in the film were pretty much well created onto the screen, and I actually agree, Stephen, they were sort of these flaming demonic figures on horses and stuff like that. He does touch upon the end sequence as well.
You did say to me, John, the antagonist was pretty weak though.
It was, the antagonist, she floats around the film, Stephen, for the opening 45 minutes or so, and it's not an overly long film, I have to say. I can't get the exact run time here, but it isn't that
I think
long.
Dave actually says it's 2 hours.
2 hours?
I'm sure he says that.
So the first half of the film, essentially, she's floating around. We see a brief glimpse of her coming out of this root sort of a system underground. She awakens, and then it kind of she doesn't do much. Then she comes into play. There's a false ending there's like this sequence where they think they've defeated her, and then they waking up and they have to go and do it all again at their school. So she was a bit crap, the villain, I have to say. But this wasn't so much about the villain for me. It was about this great young cast come together, this group of characters come together, strange bedfellows, I like to say, banding together and becoming a greater unified force, going on and defeating, learning something about themselves, gaining a new appreciation of life in general, and then obviously tackling the villain at the end. We heard the roller down the stairs, Stephen. That's nothing to do with the kid who would be king. I have to say it's football related.
Listen, John, Joe Cornish, I can't really talk much more on the film because I've not seen it. It was one of those ones where I was like, shall I not? By the time I decided, it was out the cinema. So, Joe Cornish, I think this works on many levels with the characters. They're very well-rounded characters by all accounts, from what you've said, what Dave has said and what Philip has said. And this is to do with the writing, as you said, John. You know, when you look at the likes of films, I didn't know he wrote the screenplay for The Adventures of Tintin. It was a film that came out about 7-8 years ago. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that film.
Because I had blonde hair at the time.
Yeah.
And people were saying you look Tintin.
Yeah. I thought Simon Pegg, that's who he put me in mind of at the time. But
funnily enough, Stephen, I've got a similar hairline to Simon before he got his hair transplant.
But listen, I can see how it works on that level. In regards to the sort of genre, it kind of reminds me, and I'm probably going to get shot down by Dave or yourself or Philip in this case, but it did remind me, from what I've read, it reminded me a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't mean the film, before you jump on me. I actually mean the animated series. The characters and that, they were.
So I can't possibly
it was a great series. It ran on for, it felt like forever. It probably didn't. It just felt like it. But it was a great series with very interesting characters. And there was a Merlin type character in that as well. His name is Presto. I don't know if that was due to copyright or whatever. But
hey, Presto.
Yeah. So it was a good story. Likes of films like this remind me of films that I grew up with, like Crow. These kind of action adventure films. But it's something that I think Dave says at the end of his review in regards to, sadly, the film's it kind of tanked at the box office, sadly.
Yeah, it only grossed $31.6 million worldwide. I don't know what the budget was. It is a British film, so I can't presume we don't have the same sort of a scale of budgets they have in Hollywood. So it couldn't have had a massive budget, but it certainly wasn't a box office success.
That's why I was surprised when you said in the reviews as well, John, about the CG being very impressive.
It was
because sometimes
good,
the British films, because of budget restraints, they're not very good at doing the CG either. We have to rely on landscapes, our own real life landscapes here in Scotland and the sort of northern parts of England, and obviously in Ireland as well. For these type of films, but I was very surprised to read that as well, John. But the other thing, just before I let you back in, just in regards to the box office and the Emoji Movie raking in millions, it's just this time. It's just this generation, I'm afraid. But he hopes that it does serve better on home video, DVD, Blu-ray. That is. I didn't know that was the same case for the likes of the Iron Giant and Willy Wonka. I've got to be honest with you, I didn't realise that.
Well, the original Willy Wonka or that?
I think it's Willy Wonka, because the Tim Burton one was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This one was called Willy Wonka. So
I didn't know that as well. That Willy Wonka.
I hope it does in some capacity. It does grow a kind of cult following then, because I think
Iron Giant was a fantastic film.
I liked that.
Again, I didn't realise that was a box office bomb. But you're right, Stephen. This is the type of film I think will transition well to the home audience, because it's not so big and epic in its scale that it's going to be obviously a bit of a bummer not getting to see it on a big screen. Some people have got 80-inch screens.
Donnie Darko was exactly the same. I always remember that not doing, but it did better over here than I think it did in the US. But when it came out on home release, I think that's when it started to grow an audience.
Yeah, Stephen, we've seen, touching on the box office basically before we move on to the next film, we've seen this time and again. I think I even spoke about it as recently as Monday there with box office, MBE box office. I always want to say box office chat. We keep changing these shows' names. I don't know why. It's making life really difficult for ourselves. But we've seen the likes of Whatever Men Want, or What Men Want, or what's it called?
I think filming them out of sequence or not as well, John, confuses us. So
yeah, that Whatever Men Want crappy film. It's a travesty that you're seeing that crossing like $90 million, and then something like The Sisters Brothers drops out of the top 10 after a week. Grosses nothing.
Marketing, isn't it?
Yeah, marketing. And shite films really going over more with certain demographics than these great little films, which are taking a tired idea, perhaps a tired origin story we've seen done to the death, doing something unique with it, putting a different sort of a lick of paint on it and getting a genuinely enjoyable little adventure story as a result. Stephen, I'm being a hypocrite of course, because I says I wouldn't watch this film for a long time until Philip actually reviewed it, and then I went and gave it a bash, and I really enjoyed it. Much like Dave has really enjoyed it for most of the reasons in which Dave has set out in his review, and it's a great review as ever from Dave. But look, I ain't got much more to add, Stephen. I seen the film a good while back. I enjoyed it, as he says. Dave's enjoyed it, Philip's enjoyed it. I'm sure when you see it, you'll enjoy it as well.
I'm sure I will, John. But listen, we'll move on to our next movie. It's another one from Dave.
Yes.
Coming in, it's a Keanu Reeves movie, and this one was directed by Jeffrey Nachmanoff. I think that's how you pronounce the chap's name. But
that's a very tough name.
The film's called Replicas, John. This was one that actually went right under the radar for me. I didn't know this. I think it came out last year. January last year it was.
Yes.
And the film is basically all about cloning, you know, and sort of the morals of cloning, as well as, you know, Dave says in his review. It's a film I'm trying to get my hands on since the review came in, because it's something that does intrigue me. A little bit of negativity on our Twitter feed in regards to the film's the review coming out.
What a surprise.
Unfortunately, you know, it's something that's probably been done to death, but it depends how it's, you know, executed at the end of the day.
I only really recall Bicentennial Man. He was never cloned, he was always an android
There
figure.
was another one, well, if you take Pet Sematary, I suppose that's a kind of a cloning sort of movie as well. There was another one with, I was about to say Kieran Culkin, Macaulay Culkin, I think it was, The Good Son, I'm pretty sure it was called. Another sort of version of cloning, you know, the combat evil. But what did you? No. I think it was more of a moral dilemma for the character Keanu Reeves plays in regards to who he has to sacrifice. Sadly.
And Stephen, I haven't seen the film as well, but such as the brilliance of the writing again from Dave in the review, he's tickled my fancy here. I actually do want to go and see this film, movie, whatever you want to call it now. Which is something that should surprise me, because when I went onto Rotten Tomatoes and seen it only had 10% of a rating from the critics, I would have usually have said that's not a film for me. I'm going to cast that aside and never let my eyes look upon it ever. But now that I've read Dave's review, he's turned me around a bit. He says it's better than the critics are giving it credit for. He says that the story is intriguing for the first 2 acts of the film. That it's obviously focusing on this moral dilemma. Essentially, I'm going to spoil it, Stephen, because I don't care. Because I've read the review and Dave's spoiled this, obviously, at the beginning. It starts with a car accident. Keanu Reeves is this scientific figure, I should say, who is working on this revolutionary technique of saving the consciousness of people and putting it into a cloned sort of an android body, synthetic body. It's like Ghost in the Shell, but better, maybe. That was shite, that film, so I'm going to say it's better. But I digress. Just as he's looking like he's going to crack this, his young family are killed in a car accident. I think he's 3 children and a wife. And sadly for him, he only has 3 clone bodies to save their consciousness.
Pick the 3 kids.
And nagging wife's gone. What more do you want, Keanu? What are you doing? But he doesn't do that. Keanu sacrifices, I should say William Foster, not Keanu. I'm being a bit harsh on Keanu here. I don't think he'd ever do that. But William Foster sacrifices his youngest daughter, I believe. And then that is where the moral dilemma I was speaking about previously comes from. He has to go through the whole film because he has to reset the memories of his family and try and sort of erase the history of this young daughter ever existing. But it doesn't work out like that. Too many people realise and remember that he had a young daughter. They can pinpoint that she's not there, and this creates a whole lot of issues and furore for the William Foster character. So it's that moral dilemma. Him trying to deal with the grief whilst dealing with the choice of sacrificing his daughter and try to play it off and live a happily ever after story. He says that that's bogged down though in the final third. The film just diverges into a sort of a pitiful sort of a standard thriller where the Fosters are on the run from these nefarious government figures who are trying to harness this technology for their own nasty sort of obviously, I don't know what the word would be, Stephen, but they're trying to grasp this technology.
Their own agenda,
Yeah, their own agenda, that would be the phrase, or word. So, most of this review intrigues me because I like the concept of the first 2 acts of this film. I like the fact that it's focusing in on this moral dilemma. It's an intriguing concept. The moral compass of right and wrong between cloning and being able to do this. We've seen this with stem cell sort of research, and we've even had it with what the hell was that sheep called, Stephen?
Dolly.
Dolly the sheep. We were at the forefront in Scotland for a long time.
It's all
with,
their fault.
with cloning. We cloned the first ever animal. So we know better than anybody, Stephen, about the moral dilemma and what a controversy that
those
can
chaps on Camino.
Yeah, those chaps on Camino. Yeah. But look how that turned out. That turned out very badly indeed, Stephen, as well, because that ended the Jedi as an organisation, a secret sort of not clairvoyant, I can't recall what the name is, doesn't matter, I'm having a nightmare. But I digress, Stephen, I'm getting sidetracked into a tangent here, as I do. This is not connected at all into the film. I digress, the first two acts are intriguing, but the final act is putting me off perhaps taking the dive and actually going and purchasing this Blu-ray to watch it, because I don't like that thriller thing. That has been done to death, and I can understand what people are saying, perhaps having read the review, seen Dave's words, and obviously how he's viewed the final act. It sort of descending into a standard thriller where you've got these government figures chasing the family. That's just crap.
I think
that done better in other
Jeffrey
films.
Nachmanoff, the director, John, I did look at his sort of bio to see other films he directed. Nothing really stands out to me apart from the film Traitor that he did with Don Cheadle. But as you said, it's mostly all TV movies. I think he's more prolific in his producing. Films like The Day After Tomorrow and Hostages. But Keanu Reeves, we were talking about this before we came on in regards to his film choices. Now, I'm not saying this film is a bad film or anything.
Oh, but it's definitely what he normally would do, Stephen. He's very much like the human personification of Blumhouse. Where he has one standard of sort of a film that he'll be attracted to, the bill payer, I would like to say. He'll go to and do a John Wick, and then maybe a year after he'll go and do a Replicas film to scratch the itch and maybe do an indie story that he feels is different and deserves maybe that push to get out there, and it won't get it if a Keanu Reeves doesn't.
I think despite where the film ends up going, John, I don't think it's going to put me off seeing it. I think if I can get my hands on it in some capacity, whether that be a Blu-ray or if it maybe come on Sky Movies or Netflix, I probably would give it a shout because I do like Keanu.
I like Keanu as well.
I can watch most of these films anyway, even the sort of ones that aren't that great are not that bad either.
Yeah, but the final thing I'd say on the film, Stephen, is I actually agree with Dave again. This is becoming a running theme. That he says that Keanu, whilst he likes Keanu and he enjoyed the film as a whole, I think he enjoyed it, I'm pretty sure he did. It doesn't feel like Reeves was the best fit for the main protagonist, because it's a sort of a character which goes through a lot of emotional desperation. And I agree. Keanu is, I love the guy. I think he's a fantastic actor in terms of action genres and stuff like that, and doing the slick choreography we see in John Wick. Very emotional sort of a character anyway.
Or Neo, for that matter.
But he can't really do, he's not got that wide of a range where he can do the emotional stuff.
Yeah, John.
So he's maybe not the best fit.
You're absolutely right. You know, when you like, I've been a big fan of Keanu Reeves for the best part of 2 decades now. And that's sort of his pigeonhole is action movies and comedy. You know, you've got to remember where he came from with the Bill and Ted series. But you're right. When you look at films like, what was the Sandra Bullock one, the sort of time travel one? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't recall.
The something house. I can't remember the boat. The Lake House.
Oh yeah, the Lake House. Yeah.
There was a lot of drama involved in that, but there was nothing really sort of pushing the boundaries with the character. You know, like Dave says in this one, where it's, you know, he's got this moral dilemma. There's going to be a lot of emotional pull in his choices, and you know how he's got to live with those choices as well. He perhaps isn't the right actor for that kind of role, but that's not to say that we're not big fans of his.
No, look, Stephen, fair play to him for getting into this film, this small, I'd presume, independent film, smaller budget film, and obviously deciding to lead it. And he's passionate about the plot and the story, and he wants to give it a chance. And perhaps a big studio wouldn't have gave it a chance, or any studio wouldn't have gave it a chance without Keanu Reeves been in there. And we've seen it with the likes of Knock Knock, as I did say, Stephen. He will go off and do smaller films. So hats off to him. He's a more mainstream, modern day Nick Cage. Nick Cage is doing the same thing, but nobody's watching his films in the main. I did enjoy Mandy.
And nobody minds that either.
No.
But listen, that brings us to the end of this week's blog rundown. Just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow with the Force Friday show.